Everyone Saranai Abhyanta.
Saranai. She is from California.
Morning, Bhante G.
Hi. Judy, you did not come here for a long time.
I know.
Why don't you come?
I want to come later in June.
June.
How
soon? June.
June, yeah.
June 1st?
No, the latter half of June. Look forward to it.
Chitra.
Hello.
Where are you now?
In Seattle, Bhante.
Seattle. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, now let us begin our questions and answers. Anybody has any question? You can start typing. Urmali, I guess. Okay. We have another retreat going on, but even yesterday, my talk, perhaps one half of my talk you might have listened to, because I was participating in the retreat yesterday. Today, another monkey is doing Venerable Dhamma Jiva. He's leading the retreat, so I came to give the answer your questions. So if you have questions, please either write or ask verbally. Write on the chat box.
Bhante, there's no Dhamma questions yet, but somebody's asking what parts of the retreat are available to them, and I would say just to check Facebook in the morning for your talks, because Bhante Dhammajiva's talks won't be streamed.
When is that?
In the mornings, at the morning talk.
Okay, tomorrow onward.
When you do your talk.
Yeah. Tomorrow in the morning there will be a Zoom talk by Venerable Dhammaji in the retreat, of course. That would upload to YouTube, as well as you can listen live tomorrow at 9 o'clock in the morning. Okay. You don't have any question?
Bhante, Alyssa asks if you can please explain chaga or generosity. Alyssa asks, can you please explain chaga or generosity?
I see. Yes, that is a very good and easy question. Chaga is a Pali word. The meaning is generosity. Generosity we can try to understand in different ways. One is being generous in material things. Whatever material things you give away without expecting anything in return. There are giving things with what you call puja buddhi. Puja buddhi means giving things away with out of respect. For instance, giving things to monastics or monasteries is done with respect, because they expect the monastics are living very restricted life. They sacrifice a lot of things in order to become monastic. and that is not very easy for everybody to do, and therefore they have great respect for the monasteries, giving things in the name of the Buddha out of respect. And this kind of giving is called giving in puja buddhi. Puja means offering. But you don't expect anything in return. Second way of giving is anukampa buddhi. Anukampa means out of compassion, pity, with sort of empathy. For instance, you see a beggar, you give something, also don't expect anything in return. You see you see hospitals, you give things without expecting anything. And like that, giving things away out of compassion is called anukampa buddhi. In both giving, you don't expect anything in return. That is why it is called generosity. There are many philanthropists in the world who give away things anonymously. They even don't want their names to be mentioned in anywhere. Not even they expect a thanks. I know that very well because when we were building the Bhavana society, even today, sometimes people make donations, either in cash or in checks, asking us not to reveal their names to anybody. So this is anonymous giving. And in all these cases, they don't expect anything. If you give away something, expecting something, that is not giving. For instance, you give political parties. You expect your candidate to win so that you can get some favors from him or her. So that kind of giving is not a giving. Or you throw a party. Again, you spend a lot of money, a lot of things to feed people. You have wedding party and and so forth. All kind of parties you give. That is not a generosity. Like that, generosity also becomes such a powerful practice that it is given as one of the paramis. Parami is perfection. There are three categories of parami. Parami, upaparami and paramatta parami. Parami means just you keep repeating the same thing, generous practice again and again and again, giving away material things outside your personal body. That is parami. Upaparami means giving away bodily parts. I know many people these days donate their kidneys. I know personally people who have donated their kidneys to suffering people. Some people write in their will to donate their livers. Of course, you cannot donate your liver while you are alive, but you give your permission before you die to give your liver to somebody who desperately needs a liver. And like that kind of giving is called dana upaparami. Dana paramatta parami is the highest kind of giving, that sometimes you sacrifice your life for the benefit of others. I know one incident just recently, many years ago, when I was in Washington. There was a plane crash on the Potomac River on a very heavy, snowy, cold day. It is Air Florida airplane. Airplane came and was waiting to take off. Then during that time, there was ice. They de-iced their wings before they ran it on the runway. But when it came to stop and waited for its turn, more ice fell on it, and then the wings were heavy. So anyway, pilot perhaps did not know that it took off, and then it crashed into the river, Potomac River. Then helicopters came and tried to break ice and rescue people, and they put the rope, the helicopter put the rope into the river. It fell in front of a man. That man found a woman who was struggling to swim, and he gave it to her. So helicopter rescued her, came back second time through the rope, and second time also he gave it to another woman and rescued her, saved her life. Third time helicopter came and dropped the rope exactly the same place, because that was the only place that where ice was broken. And then when it threw the rope to that place, this man was dead. So he sacrificed his life to save two lives. That kind of sacrifice is called paramatta parami, the highest generosity. So it is generosity, so you have to generously donate your life while you are alive. Some people donate their lives. In their will they write to take their bodies to use for experimental purpose, use in hospitals, and take parts of the body and so forth. That is not actually the highest kind of generosity. Anyway, that is a generosity anyway. But the other three are called real generosity, giving away things that is not a part of your body, all material things, houses, properties, money, and so forth, and food and so forth, all other requisites. Second higher is giving away your bodily parts, and the highest is sacrificing your life. All these are done without expecting anything in return. That is called generosity. And that is the generosity that eventually helps anybody to renounce the world and become monastic. That is what the Bodhisattva did. He gave up his kingdom, his wife, child, his throne, prestige, everything he gave up and became a virtual beggar and lived an extremely simple life. That is the highest giving that we can do only when we practice generosity in the past in the way I mentioned. Okay, next question.
Bhante, there's a follow-up question to generosity that you were just speaking about.
Mm-hmm.
And if we are not to expect anything in return, but we feel good from giving, how should we manage these feelings?
I see.
And not cling to that?
That is a very good question, also follow-up question. When you give away, you don't expect anything, and yet you feel very, very, very good. You feel very good because you let go of your attachment. Letting go of your attachment is a very difficult thing to do. And as I said, you don't expect anything from the recipients, but you feel that you are relieved of burden of holding to something. That happens very naturally. You give away for the sake of giving, and then you think, I have done it, and it is good for me. And highest giving is giving away your desire. Your clinging, a craving for anything, even the pleasure, you maintain what you call atammayata. Atammayata means it is not me, not mine, not myself. That is not me, that is not I am, that is not myself. That kind of sacrifice is eventual benefit of giving. So you will have an equanimous feeling. So that is very normal. And the highest giving actually is giving Dhamma. Sabbang dadocha sohoti yo vedetu pasvat amatang dadocha sohoti yo Dhamma manusasati, said the Buddha in Samyutta Nikaya. If somebody builds a monastery, that person gives everything. Gives everything. Meaning monasteries are built for people to come, meditate, learn Dhamma, discuss Dhamma, relax, experience peace, and so forth. And therefore, that's what people need. So Buddha said that is giving as if giving everything. But highest giving is Dhamma. Amatang dadocha sohoti yo Dhamma manusasati. If somebody explains Dhamma correctly, that person gives ambrosia, amata, deathlessness. That person gives deathlessness, amatang. That is why it is said, sabbadanang dhammadanang janati. Out of all dana, the greatest dana is dhammadana. I am so happy that we are doing that.
Bhante, the next question is, how does mindfulness practice benefit us both internally and externally, in the external world and in the internal world?
I think that's a good question also. When you practice mindfully internally, you practice mindful externally, and you practice mindfulness both internally and externally. These three sentences are repeatedly mentioned in Satipatthana Sutta. You meditate, become mindful of what is happening in you. Your feeling, your perception, your thought, your consciousness, your body. You definitely experience changing. Changing all the time. That means your body is impermanent, feelings are impermanent, perceptions are impermanent, thoughts are impermanent, consciousness is impermanent. And there is no way to argue about it because it is impermanent. All you have to do is to pay attention to your body, feeling, perception, thought and consciousness. Even while I am talking right now, you experience impermanence. And then when you hear a sound, you can hear the sound waves coming and hitting your eardrums, and we interpret them and make some sense out of it, and next moment it's gone. Next sound, and so forth. So that is happening to you. And then you think it happens to X and Y also. It happens to X and Y. X and Y also experiences the same way that I experience. There is no different way. With this eyes that I have here, I see objects. Other people have eyes, with those eyes they see objects. With these ears, I hear sound. They hear sound, and so forth. And what I see is impermanent, what they see is impermanent. What I hear is impermanent, what they hear is impermanent. So we first become fully aware of your own experience, then you use inferentially that you think others also experience the same way. I have feelings in a certain way because of certain things. They also have feelings the same way. So they and I are not different. Different in the sense of experience. We all experience the same way. And then the third sentence repeated there, in Pali it says, Attikayatona pasati paccupattatati avijñānamata. What do you call Samudaya Dhammanupassaya kāyasmiñ virati? No, why Dhammanupassaya? Iti ajjattaṃ vā kāyikānupassaya virati, bahiddhava kāyikānupassaya virati. Kaya means body. With that we see internal changes, and we inferentially know external changes as well. Sometimes you can think while you are breathing in, your breath is changing, and the breath outside also is changing. The air outside is changing. But at the same time, the third sentence is, iti ajjattaṃ kāya kāyanupassaya virati bahiddhava kāya kāyanupassaya. Ajjatta bahiddhava. Internally as well as externally. Once you see internally you experience, you see the changes, you see external changes, then Buddha said internal, external changes you see. What does it mean? That means while I am changing, you are changing. You don't wait until I finish my change to change. You change while I am changing. It happens always. While I am changing now, you all are changing. Everything around me changing. Everything in the universe is changing while I am changing. And we must understand that change or impermanence is taking place in me, in you, and in both. In me, in you, and both. Together, the same time, simultaneously. And therefore, this is very, very important message we must remember. Impermanence is taking place in us, around us, all over the universe. Everything is always changing. In order to show this, Buddha said, experience internally and externally, and both internally and externally. Okay, another question.
Bhante, there are no questions right now.
No?
No questions.
Okay, you can ask more questions. We have time. Although questions are not written, you are welcome to write more questions. Your cell phone is with you, your computer is with you. You don't have to mention your name. Okay?
Oh, there's a question.
Uh,
We have a question.
what is that?
So there's a strong attachment to children naturally. When they misbehave, it causes me great pain in the mind. Any advice on how to work on this?
What?
One of the viewers has a question about their children. They have a strong attachment to their children, and when they misbehave, it causes them distress in the mind. Do you have any advice on how to work with that?
Yes. You heard the question? Did you hear the question?
Hear it, Bhante. We didn't hear the question.
The question is, somebody has children and they misbehave, and that causes you a lot of pain. You want to correct your children. You don't want the neighbors, the society, country in inconvenience situation, and therefore you feel very uncomfortable, when your children misbehave, how to tackle that. You can remain mindful. You can remain mindful and be compassionate, and with compassion and mindfulness you try to tackle the problem. On the one hand, on one hand you have responsibility to discipline your children. Sort of it's a commitment, and that commitment you can fulfill without getting too much upset. When you get upset, your advice will be very harsh. Children may even become even more disobedient. If your advice is compassionate, kind, with full of love, then they will listen to you better. Also, we have to learn to respect lives. Children have their own honor, dignity, their life, and they like to be respected. Not just like respecting the religious person or so, something like that, but we have to have some sense of letting that person maintain that person's dignity without belittling, without insulting, without abusing children. Parents can advise them with love, respect, kindness, patience, understanding. They can advise children. Then they will be very, very happy with those parents, happy to obey their advice and change their misbehavior. Sometimes it can become very difficult, but even with difficulties, when we try, you can be successful. That is my advice. Even the Buddha has given this advices like that. We must fulfill our responsibility, our duty, in order to respect it. Sometimes, when parents show their own weaknesses, if parents do certain things which no children would appreciate, with those weaknesses, if parents try to advise children won't listen to parents. Parents must live a very honest, straightforward life, and then only children will listen to them. If parents lie and ask children not to lie, they would not listen to them. It is said in Pali, Sabbhagava ujunyanti nette ujugate sati. Sabbhagava vankayanti nette vankagate sati. When leading cow goes crooked here and there, all the following cows in the herd will go the same way. If the leading cow goes straight and the cows following him go straight with him. Similarly, we have to set example for children to behave well, and therefore we have to look at ourselves as well. And then if we are honest, right, straightforward, following noble principles, children will behave the same way. I want to I'll tell you a story. One day, a child came with his parents, grandparents, uncles, aunts, and so forth, and in front of me they had a casual discussion. This girl, she was 8 years old maybe. She got up and raised her hand, and I asked her, why, what, you have a question? She said, yes, Bhante, we children can observe the 5 precepts. We don't kill, we don't steal, we don't commit sexual misconduct, we don't lie, we don't drink. We can observe all the 5 precepts. But our parents break all these precepts. The parents were so embarrassed. In front of all of them, this girl said this. How can that kind of parents advise children? And therefore, children always observe parents' behavior because that is their role model. They follow what the parents do. And therefore, this question is an important question for all of us to think very carefully and use our ethical, moral principles to make them live honestly, sincerely, and follow your advice. Okay. Any other question?
Yes, Bhante, there's a follow-up question on generosity. And the question is it generous to wish someone well or not? Is it generous to not say something unwise? And is it generous to listen to someone as a friend?
Yes, it is very giving generous advice. The question is it generosity to wish someone well? Surely that is compassion. Or not to say something that may be unwise, or listen to someone as a friend. Listen to someone as a friend. When you wish someone well, that is your generous thought and also compassionate thought, or not to say something that may be unwise. Yeah, I think that is true. It is better not to say something that is unwise. Or to listen to someone as a friend. If somebody has a problem, you listen to the person with sort of empathy, with compassion, with patience. You listen to the person. You may take some time. These days, time is money. So you spend that time and sacrifice that money to listen to this person. In the society, there are many people who need someone to hear their problems. They may not expect any answers or solutions, but they need to talk to somebody. And if we listen to them, that itself is a cure for them. They will relieve their mind of their problems. Heavy burden they have, they may come with heavy body, heavy mind, heavy heart, heavy problems, to unload their problems on you. And if you spend time with the person, listening, and if the person needs a word or two from you, you give that advice. Otherwise, you at least listen to the person. That also is a generous practice of you. Okay?
Bhante, what are the factors that are conducive for the arising of faith and confidence?
Factors that are conducive to arousing faith and confidence. The first is understanding. When in the case of Buddha, in order to have faith in the Buddha, we must understand what he has taught us. Not everything, but the main thing we must understand. The deeper our understanding, greater is our faith in the Buddha. And the faith endowed with the understanding is called aviccappasada. Avicca means having understood. Pasada means pleasing. So we have faith in the Buddha. That faith is endowed with knowledge. When you understand, you become, you will be delighted to follow the path. You will be delighted that the advice is given by Buddha. And you put the understanding Dhamma into practice, then you see the results. When you see the results, you will have even deeper faith in the Buddha. So Buddha always advises us to follow the Dhamma and then have faith in the Buddha. So that is one condition. Second is you have to associate with the Kalyana Mitta. Kalyana Mitta is one who has patience. He talks to you according to Dhamma. He never mislead you. He expects your well-being and happiness. And such a person is your Kalyana Mitta. And associate such Kalyana Mitta. That is the second reason, second important factor to arouse your faith. Third is discuss the Dhamma. When you discuss Dhamma, discussing Dhamma actually is considered to be a blessing according to Mangala Sutta. Discussing Dhamma is blessing. Fourth is you learn the Dhamma, read Dhamma books and put them into practice. Fifth is meditate. When you meditate, that is where all the factors come together and you experience in yourself what is taught in the Dhamma. When you practice meditation, meditation always leads and guides you to look at yourself, and then you can see the results of your meditation practice. Then you will have faith in the Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha. Okay, another question?
Bhante, does one attain Nibbana in this life, before death, at death, or after death?
All these three situations are possible, either before death, at death, or any time in this life one can attain Nibbana. Because attaining Nibbana is, we keep following the Noble Eightfold Path. Follow the Noble Eightfold Path. Diligently, conscientiously, meticulously follow the Noble Eightfold Path. And that, I say, is the way to bring your karma to an end. I call it Kamma Kaya Kamma. The Noble Eight, following the Noble Eightfold Path is called Kamma Kaya Kamma. That is Kamma that destroys Kamma. Kamma that destroys Kamma is the Noble Eightfold Path. So long as we have Kamma, we will take rebirth and have suffering. And therefore we have to destroy Kamma. In order to destroy Kamma, follow the Noble Eightfold Path. That is indisputable factors in the Buddha's teaching. Indisputable. So friends, I think that must be enough for Dhamma discussion. And now let us do some meditation. As usual, we open the meditation section. Okay, friends, let us do some meditation. May all beings be happy and secure. May all beings have happy minds. Whatever living beings there may be, without exception, weak or strong, long, large, medium, short, subtle or gross, visible or invisible, living near or far, born or coming to birth, may all beings have happy minds. Let no one deceive another, nor despise anyone anywhere. Neither from anger nor ill will should anyone wish harm to another. As a mother wishes her own life to protect her only child, even so towards all living beings, one should cultivate a boundless heart. One should cultivate for all the world a heart of boundless loving friendliness, above, below, and all around, unobstructed, without hatred or resentment. Whether standing, walking, or sitting, lying down or whenever awake, one should develop this mindfulness. This is called divinely dwelling here, not falling into erroneous views, but virtuous and endowed with vision, removing desire for sensual pleasures. One comes never again to birth in the womb. Okay? by means of this meritorious deed, may I never join with the foolish, may I join always with the wise, until the time I attain Nibbana. May the suffering be free from suffering, may the fear-struck be free from fear, may the grieving be free from grief, so too may all beings be. From the highest realm of existence to the lowest, may all beings arisen in these realms, with form and without form, with perception and without perception, be released from all suffering and attain to perfect peace. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Friends, with this metta thought, we want to end this morning session, and I want to continue my regular metta recital, and metta wish. May all those who are in hospitals taken care of by very compassionate doctors and nurses and hospital staffs, may they recover very quickly and return to normal health and continue their Dhamma practice and liberate themselves from samsaric suffering. May all the doctors, nurses and hospital staffs in everywhere all over the world be happy and peaceful to continue their wonderful service for humanity, sacrificing their own comfort, risking sometimes their own health. They take care of them. May they all be happy and peaceful and attain liberation. May all those who have lost their loved ones and be grieving may be free from grief and return to their regular life, continue their Dhamma practice and liberate from samsaric suffering. May all those who are in various trouble spots, war zones, discrimination, poverty-stricken, and all those who have deprivation of all the facilities, may they find peace somehow and find liberation from samsaric suffering through the practice of Dhamma meditation. May all of you who have been attending these Zoom talks and those who have not attended the Zoom talks and everyone everywhere be well, happy and peaceful and attain to perfect peace and excellent, excellent, excellent.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Vansita Dirgayus Labir.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Teruan Sarnay
Sadhu
Bhante.
Bhante.
Thank you,
Good health to
Bhante.
you, Bhante.
Teruan Sarnay
Thank you,
Bhante.
Bhante.
Teruan Sarnay Bhante. Sir. May all be
Yes,
safe and
Wish you
healthy.
good health and a long life.
Sadhu, sadhu.
Okay.
Everyone, Saranai Bhante.
Good night, Bhante. Good night, everybody.
Everyone Saranai.
Teruan Saranai. Okay. See you later.
Vansita Labeva. Vansita Dirgayus Labeva.
Esenveva.
Thank you, Bhante. Teruan Saranai.
Teruan
Thank you,
Saranai.
Bhante. Mangalam.
Mangalam.
Thank you, Bhante.